Welcome to rSlash Am I the Butthole, where OP gets revenge against his abusive parents. Am I the butthole for potentially being the reason that my father and his wife can't adopt or foster? So my father and his wife are unable to have kids together. My father has me, a 16-year-old boy, from his marriage to my mom, which ended because he cheated on her with his now wife. My mom found out about the affair when I was 7, and my mom left him immediately. I split time with both of them, unfortunately, which meant that I was around my father and his wife a lot, and she tried to be a second mom to me, which I think was scummy after she knowingly slept with a married man. She was also dating my dad's best friend at the time, too. My mom died when I was 12. Then I had to live with my father and his wife, and I had no escape from them. They tried to make me forgive them and let go of what happened, and they did a bunch of therapy with me. But I always told them that I would stop speaking to him as soon as I turned 18. They found out 3 years ago that they couldn't have kids together, and almost 2 years ago, they started the process to adopt a baby from foster care. During this process, I got interviewed. I was asked questions about my relationship with my parents. When they said, "my parents," I corrected them and told them that she was not my parent, and he was only my parent because of blood. They asked me how I would feel about a sibling, and I told them I would have nothing to do with one, and I was planning to move and never speak to my father again once I turned 18. The social worker looked kind of alarmed by that. She asked me about my father's family, and I said that they disowned him after he cheated, and so did all of his friends. Soon after the interviews were done, they were rejected and were told that they couldn't provide a suitable environment for a child. My father's wife fell apart. I heard her say that my mom must have been cursing her from beyond the grave. She's really religious and does believe that people can send good or bad luck from beyond the grave. She's still not over the news, and a few weeks ago, my father was telling me that I should take pity on her and at least be friendly to her. I asked him why I should do that, and he said that her dream of motherhood is over. I told him that I didn't care. He asked me if I had something to do with that. I shrugged. He then went off on me, saying that it was cruel to punish them for this long. He said that they could have provided a child with so much love, and it was wrong to say things that got in the way of that. My stepmom sobbed for a week when he told her. Am I the butthole? Yo, I gotta take a moment. I have to take a moment here. This woman broke up a married family by sleeping with the dad. And then when the mom dies, she has the gall to blame the dead mother for her misfortune in front of her son. That's brutal. That is cold as ice. Man, how is OP supposed to feel about that comment? All right, sorry. I just had to take a moment. That is bonkers that she said that in front of you, OP. Okay, so as for the interview, I would say actually you have an ethical responsibility to answer the questions honestly. During the interview process, it's not your job to advocate for your parents. It's your job to tell the truth so that people can make the right decision about who gets the baby. If your father wanted a better relationship with his son, then maybe he shouldn't have cheated on your mom with his best friend's girlfriend. This comment might go too far for this channel, but it might actually be a good thing that these two can't have kids because they would not be good parents. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your dad and your stepmom 4.5 out of 5 buttholes for being cheaters and terrible parents. Am I the butthole for publicly humiliating my sister-in-law? I'm a 30-year-old woman, and this July I got married to my husband. Our wedding theme was fairy court. We only invited close family and friends, and we asked them to wear jewel-toned dresses and suit jackets. The wedding was in a sort of forest. We took photos with almost everyone, not just the wedding party, which only consisted of a best man and a maid of honor. My sister-in-law, in her mid-20s, showed up in a bluish-pink dress and her boyfriend in a cream suit jacket. She thought that would make her pop, I guess. She's an attention seeker. But joke's on her, my dress was gold and shimmery, and my husband was in an emerald green jacket. Also, I was wearing a full-on crown, so there was no mistaking who the bride was. When the photographer asked me if she should Photoshop them a bit to make them blend in more, I told her not to bother. Make them look nice, but don't change the colors or anything like that. Well, I received the photos 4 days ago. I posted some on my Instagram and some on my Facebook. My sister-in-law and her boyfriend looked so out of place. They were completely washed out. Then she had the nerve to comment on my post. It was very passive-aggressive, something along the lines of washing her out to make myself stand out more. I replied by saying that she washed herself out by ignoring the wedding theme. She deleted her comment. But then we met last night at my in-laws' place. It was an accident. We didn't plan to meet up or anything. She pretty much said the same thing. I repeated that she only looked washed out because the photo style we chose emphasized deep colors. That's why we asked people to wear jewel tones. It escalated with me telling her that she looked like garbage in our photos because she was a jealous little woman who thought that she could upstage me with a $30 dress the color of diluted Pepto-Bismol. She started crying and left. Now my mother-in-law says that I owe my sister-in-law an apology for publicly shaming her, as well as for insulting her looks. So, am I the butthole? Also, OP clarifies that she didn't just say the sister-in-law looks like garbage out of nowhere. When she said you look like garbage, what she was referring to was an earlier comment where the sister-in-law said, I look like garbage in these photos. So OP said, the reason why you look like garbage is such and such. But nah, OP, I'm on your side. Your sister-in-law intentionally chose an off-theme dress, thinking it would make her stand out, but actually it had the opposite effect. It's kind of ironic because the theme would have allowed her to go big and bold and glamorous and beautiful and be super eye-catching, but she's just so self-obsessed that she didn't realize that. OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving her 2 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for telling my family that they never cared about my birthday before, so why should it matter now? I'm an 18-year-old woman, and my parents divorced when I was about 6. It was a 50-50 custody split, with my mom wasting no time to get remarried to my stepdad. My stepdad had kids already, Alex, who's 15, Violet, who's 16, and Mabel, who's 17. I was relentlessly bullied by them for various things I couldn't control. Having a speech impediment, having less expensive clothes, only being able to see my dad on weekends, etc. My mom and stepdad didn't do anything to stop it, and essentially told me, kids will be kids, then kept it pushing. My mom would lightly scold Violet and Mabel if they hurt me while playing, but wouldn't do anything more. I had to watch as they got far more expensive gifts for birthday and Christmas, and actually what they wanted from their wish lists. Meanwhile, I got the bare minimum of necessities, and I would only get things that I actually wanted from my dad, but he could only go so far due to making half as much as what my stepdad makes. I appreciated it nonetheless. I didn't even get to properly enjoy my birthday cake, or rather, my birthday cupcakes that my mom made to cut down on costs, because my siblings ate them all before I got seconds. I was never allowed to have a party because my friends were too messy and loud. Around age 10, I pretty much stopped expecting them to put effort into my birthday and just kind of let it pass by whenever I was with them. Yesterday was my 18th birthday, and I decided to spend it with my friends, my boyfriend, and my dad. I was pretty much out all day, and I came back around nearly 10 p.m. My mom was waiting for me with my stepdad and pretty much blew up on me for not spending the day with them. Apparently, they prepared a small celebration for me that got wasted because I wasn't there. They were both going off on me for being inconsiderate and ungrateful. In the middle of their little rant, I snapped that they never effing cared about my birthday all these years before, so why should this one matter now? They were in shock, and that gave me the opportunity to go to my room and sleep. I woke up to texts from my grandparents and aunt saying that I was disrespectful for saying that and ungrateful for anything my mom and stepdad did for me. OP, that's a depressing story, but the silver lining is that now that you're 18, you can safely cut your mom, your stepdad, and your step-siblings out of your life forever. I'm not sure how much you're aware of this, OP, because typically when people grow up with abuse, they don't fully realize just how abusive it is, but make no mistake, your family is abusing you. Move in with your dad or boyfriend and never look back. I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your mom and step-family 3.5 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for telling my daughter-in-law that she wasn't invited due to her weight? I have 3 girls, and we like to do girl trips for the day. My son got married to a girl named Beth. Now, before her first kid, she had an average weight, but after, it's gotten a lot worse. Her only kid is 8 years old at this point, and she hasn't lost the weight. It's bad enough that she needs constant breaks walking. I used to like her, and now I don't because of how she acts. Everywhere we go with her, it's constant complaining that she's tired. The last girls' trip to the mall was spent sitting on a bench half the day since she needed constant break. If you try to leave, she'll go on and on about abandoning her. It's annoying. I invited the girls to go to a farm for a pumpkin patch and to pick some apples. It has big orchards and a ton of walking. We went and had a great time, and then we posted pictures to Facebook. I got a call from Beth asking why she wasn't invited. I lied, saying that it was just a family trip, and she accused me of lying. I had enough and told her the truth. I told her that she wasn't invited due to her weight, that she forces us to stop all the time, and it ruins the trips most days since we don't get to do half the stuff. She called me a jerk and hung up. I'm getting texts from my son saying to apologize, but the girls are on my side and are sick of having trips ruined because we have to wait for her all the time. We've done plenty of things that aren't physically taxing with her, but even the small stuff, she ends up on a bench half the day. We went to a mall, and for half the day, she was on the bench. It was just window shopping. She's obese. Her ankles are swollen from her weight. The connection between her weight and not walking far without a break is very obvious. So this story is actually super relevant to my situation because, as you guys know, I'm a dad and my mom is a grandmother. And as you might imagine, an older grandmother has a little bit of difficulty keeping up with a 2.5-year-old toddler. So when all of us go out together to some farm or festival or whatever, what'll often happen is my mom, because she's much older, will have to sit down and rest. But she doesn't guilt trip us and say that we have to stay with her. She says, "Oh, you guys go ahead, have fun. I'll sit here and rest and I'll just read a book on my phone," or something normal like that. But then at the same time, me and my wife make an effort to spend time with grandma so that grandma and granddaughter can bond. It needs to be a healthy balance, not one side completely ignoring the other side or one side forcing the other to hang out with them for the rest of the day. So I understand the frustration, OP, but I'm mostly on your side because it sounds like Beth is basically trying to make her problem everyone else's problem. I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving Beth 1 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for telling my daughter-in-law that she isn't welcome in my home due to her jealousy about me being a housewife? I'm a housewife. I was a stay-at-home mom when my kids were young, and now that everyone else is out of the home, I'm a housewife. The moment that I met my daughter-in-law, Beth, she's had a problem with me. The first time I met her, I told her that I'm a homemaker, and she told me that's not a job and it's lazy of me. I had met her just 30 minutes before that comment. This issue comes up all the damn time. They'll come over for dinner, I'll mention that I'm tired, and she'll tell me that I don't work, so how am I tired? I've talked to her and my son about this before. My husband and I have concluded that she's jealous. It's the only thing that makes any sense at this point. I've told her that if it happens again, I'll ask her to leave, and the comments stopped for a bit. They were over for a dinner party, and I was talking about how I made a pie for tonight. Beth made the comment, "Of course you had enough time since you don't work." I had enough, and I told her that. I said, "I understand that you're jealous of me since you have to work and I don't, but you have to get out and you are not welcome back." My son and Beth called me a jerk for kicking them out. OP clarifies in the comments that Beth is 25, which was kind of surprising because in this story, I was imagining more like a teenager. Anyways, this is super simple. It doesn't really matter how hard or easy being a housewife is. The simple fact of the matter is that if you come into someone's house and insult them, you're a butthole. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving Beth and your son 2 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for telling my daughter's boyfriend to stop groping her? So I'm a 44-year-old woman, and I have a 20-year-old daughter, Alexandra, and she has a boyfriend, Marcus, who's 21. When she first introduced us, I was happy, and I thought that he was really nice and good for her. Today, my husband and I had my parents and my sister come over to our house. Alexandra was also there and invited Marcus over as well, which I was fine with. After Alexandra was done introducing Marcus to her grandparents and aunt, I noticed that Marcus seemed to excessively show my daughter affection, such as long, drawn-out kissing, hugging her for long periods, and letting her lay sprawled out on him on the couch. It made me feel uncomfortable, but I let it slide until I noticed Marcus was groping my daughter's butt while they kissed on one of the living room couches. I snapped by yelling, making them break away from each other, and said that Marcus needed to stop groping my daughter because it made me uncomfortable and it was disgusting to do that in front of other people. There was silence until my daughter stood up and told me that she was leaving in a quiet tone. I tried to stop her, but she left anyways with Marcus. Alexandra later texted me that I was a butthole and a prude for embarrassing her and Marcus like that. I showed the text to my husband, and he said that while I was right, I could have been nicer about it. Okay, so this was like a social gathering, and these people are sucking face in front of other people at a social gathering, and not just a social gathering with friends or strangers, but a social gathering with family, and they're sucking face in front of their family members? Ugh. I guess technically I have to give an everyone sucks here situation because OP immediately snapping and yelling at people is a little bit far, even though technically I agree with her. So OP, I'm giving you 1 out of 5 buttholes just for snapping and yelling when you could have alternatively just said, hey, could you guys not do that? Or like take your daughter aside or something normal. As for Marcus and your daughter, I'm giving them 1.5 out of 5 buttholes because what they're doing is very inappropriate and just gross. Also, OP, I gotta point out that your title says you have to yell at your daughter's boyfriend to stop groping her, but it definitely seems like your daughter was a willing participant, especially since she was laying splayed out on top of him. So in my opinion, your daughter is just as much to blame as Marcus is. That was rSlash Am I the Butthole, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.